Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Can you all hear me? Can all of you hear me? You can type yes if you can. Thank you, Mr. Karthik, Shia, Harish Kumar. Thank you so much. Sorry, there was some glitch. We will start in a minute. Okay, so let's get started with today's session. Sorry for the delay. There was some issue with this getting streamed on live on Instagram. We're just trying to correct that. Now it's all streaming on Instagram as well. So we are here to discuss, as you know, Yaksha Prashna, one of the most intriguing parts of our philosophy of Mahabharata. The Mahabharata has several milestones, many places where knowledge is sitting there in an integrated form, in a very concentrated form. Mahabharata, as we know, is called the Panchama Veda. That means it is equivalent to a Veda. And whatever are the great lessons that we are learning from here are something which are everlasting. They are Sanatana. The Yaksha Prashna is one such, I would say, a spiritual milestone in this fantastic ocean of knowledge called Mahabharata. Now, what is special about this Yaksha Prashna is that it was a questions on Dharma that was put to Dharmaraja. So the person who was answering this question was somebody who was in a position of authority. And through his conduct, Yudhishthira always comes out as a winner in most situations. Yes, he has his follies, he has his drawbacks, but yet he is Dharmaraja. And he's put in a very peculiar situation in the Yaksha Prashna context. All of them, as we heard earlier, all the Pandavas are in the forest. They're all very thirsty, yearning to drink some water. It's a very warm day, and they're walking continuously without any sign of water or nutrition. Suddenly, they get a feeling that they should look for water. Maybe there's a water body somewhere close by. So Yudhishthira then asked Sahadeva, the youngest amongst the Pandavas, to climb up the tree and look at and search if there's a place where they could find drinking water. He climbs a tree where he has a vantage point to the entire area, and he sees that there are a lot of these birds which are coming and coagulating in one place. They seem to be descending on that. Immediately he says, yes, there seems to be a place which is a water body. Yudhishthira then advises him to go and get the water for all of them so that they could all quench their thirst and probably then go there themselves after some time. Sahadeva follows these instructions, goes to that lake and is about to drink the water. Then a voice appears from somewhere and warns him that Sahadeva, this whole place that you're looking at, this beautiful lake is belongs to me. It is something that I have the adhipatya. So you can't drink water from here without my permission. And I will let you drink water only if you answer my question. Sahadeva, of course, is a little impatient. He's also been thirsty for some time. So he immediately tells, doesn't say anything, but he just goes and said, who is this person to tell me when I should be drinking water? In a mixture of arrogance and ego on one side, and having been thirsty for so long, he drinks that water and immediately falls unconscious, as though he's dead. Yudhishthira then asks Nakula, his younger brother, to go and then repeat this. And he's a little concerned. Why didn't Sahadeva come back? Nakula then goes and the same story repeats. Then he sends Arjuna and then he sends Bhima, and the story is very, very alike. Yudhishthira is really surprised, very worried about what has happened to his brothers. So he comes to the banks of that lake and says that I too want to drink water. And he's shocked. And he says, what happened to my brothers? Why are they lying like this? Now, if somebody were to, something were to happen to a person that you are very close to, it is understandable. But here, these are no ordinary human beings. They are Pandavas. They are the people who are the warriors of warriors, always emerging victorious in a war. Who could have killed them? Yudhishthira is simply surprised. He's shocked. And he says, something must be dramatically wrong. And he gets thinking. The good thing about Yudhishthira that we learn, of course, apart from the great answers that he gives later on, is how he does not lose his cool. And then he's about to drink the water. And Yaksha then warns him that don't drink this water without my permission. Your brothers did the same thing. And look at what I've done to them. You will meet with the same fate. Yudhishthira is not convinced that the person who is asking him the question is some unknown entity. So he asks him that, who are you? Yaksha says, forget who I am. It's not important. You have to answer my question. Yudhishthira, with all the humility, says that, look, I may not know the answers, but I will try my best. And I will give the answer to the best of my ability. That becomes the way forward for a series of questions and a set of great answers that Yudhishthira then starts to give. So those of you who have missed the first part, please go through the video. Now, what is interesting about this is that the answers that Yudhishthira has given and the manner in which Yudhishthira asked these questions are in a very unique style. You can ignore them as trivia, saying, okay, some questions to which we know the answer. But the fact is, we don't seem to know the answers to the questions which are not just put to Yudhishthira, but our mind keeps asking us all the time. And then we actually, by studying these answers carefully, that is why in the previous session and in this session as well, I will request all of you not to take notes. Don't take notes. If any one of you is interested, we will share an email ID at the end of this session. We will give you, you can request for these PPTs and we will send it to you. Many people have asked for this from the last session, so we have already shared it with them. Now, why am I saying that you should not ask these questions or take down notes is because we we want you to think about this, ponder about these questions, because these are no questions that are easy to answer, and these are answers which are given are very thought provoking. They go very deep into our psyche, and a careful analysis of these answers and in some way implementing it in our lives can give us a wonderful playbook that we can use over and over again for getting success, getting relationships repaired if they are broken, building excellent working relationships at in our professional lives, helping us overcome the moral dilemmas that we seem to face all the time, and be able to evolve our own workbook as I said, as a playbook for our life. In many ways, Yaksha Prashna reflects the Bhagavad Gita, except that the answers are much more direct and well explained in the limited time that Yaksha and Yudhishthira have. Of course, Bhagavad Gita is equivalent to an Upanishad, which is at an even higher level, because the person who was giving the answer was Lord Krishna. But here, the answers are something that we can assimilate. You will see that most of these answers are one word answers. So, probably the first time this objective type questions were asked and an equally objective type answer was given by someone. So, with these words, let's get started on today's session, which is going to be focusing on the next set of questions. And for each question, I shall provide a kind of a commentary or some kind of thing that will help you understand you better, right? So, the next question Yaksha asks, it's always a set of 3 or 4 questions. In some places, he has asked only one question in a bunch. He says, who is a friend to a traveler? That means somebody who is going on a travel. Who is the best friend that you can have for a traveler? Second one, who is a friend to one who stays at home? That means if somebody stays at home, who is the best friend that person can have? And who is the friend to someone who is unwell or who is sick? So somebody is sick, who is the best friend? And who is a friend to someone who is dying? So these are the 4 questions that Yaksha asks. Who is a friend to a traveler? Who is a friend to one who stays at home? Who is a friend to the sick? And who is a friend to someone who is dying? So deliberately this time what I've done is I have put the answers that Yudhishthira has given in a subsequent slide, so that we resist the temptation a little bit to jump into the questions. This is what he says. And what are the answers? Good company and education or knowledge is the friend to someone who travels. What a profound answer. Good company. So, whenever you are traveling, if you have the right company, the distances don't matter. We all would have had an experience like this. If you are going on a trip with like minded people, your friends, and people who share the same interests as you are, you enjoy the travel so much that you forget that you are even traveling. So, indeed, it is a very, very special travel that you can have. The travel becomes more meaningful. Now, this is for general travel. Now, if you are on a holiday, you want a certain set of people to be there with you. The other one is a set of, let us say you're going on a pilgrimage, then maybe the people that you go with will be different. Why? Because they're like minded for that purpose. However, this question has 2 answers. It says the person who is like minded is one, the other one, a person who is knowledgeable. A person who is knowledgeable makes each travel much more meaningful. Let us say you go to a pilgrimage. You go to a place about which you may not know everything. But you have someone who knows a lot about why, what is the special highlight of that pilgrimage. He will share a lot of that with you. And your travel, everything that you see there becomes much more than the buildings and the structures and the people, etc., because it suddenly acquires a different meaning. Imagine you're visiting any spot of historical importance, tourist spot, and you don't know anything about it. Then you stand to lose a little bit because you don't know enough. That's why they say you should always have a tourist guide. You learn much more about the place than you did before. So, a person, if you're traveling, to make the travel more interesting, to make it more purposeful, you need to have someone who is knowledgeable. Then he says, the person who is staying at home, the wife or the spouse is the best friend. So when somebody is with at home, having the right partner in the form of a husband or a wife is the best friend that person can have. The life acquires a new meaning when you have a spouse or a partner who's like-minded, who can add to your strengths, to complement you, to guide you, and to give you that kind of love and affection. So having a good spouse, be it a husband or a wife, adds a new dimension to our life. On the contrary, a wrong spouse, a person with whom you're not able to get along and are in constant conflict, can subtract that energy, subtract that kind of purpose that you might have in your life. So it is very important to have the right partner when you stay at home. And a doctor is a friend to someone who is sick. I think this answer is also a little intuitive. If you see, for a person who is sick, what does he need? Some treatment. So for that person, the doctor is the best friend. And for someone who's dying, the best friend is dana or charity. The reason is this materialistic wealth that he has is not going to help him after his death. So when he is dying, he might as well give away as much as he can to someone so that the punya or the good deeds that he is able to accumulate is useful to him after death. So that is why if you see in the Sanatana Dharma, it is always mandated that dana is given at all times, but especially when a person is dying or passing away, or immediately after that person is passing away, because that is an emotional moment. There is a time when everyone realizes, maybe at different levels, but everybody realizes that whatever is the materialistic wealth that a person has very little meaning after death for that person, and also having lost someone dear to that person. So therefore, the dana is the best friend to someone who's dying. The next question is, who is that one person who seems to be a guest for everyone? When we say Sanatana Dharma, what is Sanatana Dharma? What is Amrita or elixir? That means something that will ensure you never die. And what is this world all about? So, four questions. Who is a guest to everyone? What is Sanatana Dharma? What is Amrita? And what is this world? So, he says, Agni is the guest to everyone. He is the person who goes to everybody's house and is welcomed. Atithi, because he is the one who adds energy into your life. So Agni is a guest who goes to everyone's house on all occasions. And whatever is said and supported by the Vedas is what we call as Sanatana Dharma. So as you know, Sanatana Dharma, there is no start date. We don't know when Sanatana Dharma actually got founded, because it is Sanatana. It has been there forever. It has been there forever. It is undated. So therefore, It is something that is going on for time immemorial. It's timeless. And whatever we see as the Vedas are the ones which dictate what is Sanatana Dharma. Because, like Sanatana Dharma, Vedas are also apaurushaya. Nobody created the Vedas, they existed forever, they are eternal. So, one may say, how can something which is there be there, forever without anybody creating it? There are so many concepts which nobody created. Who created time? Who created number system? Let's forget about other things. Look at mathematics. We, as people, for identification, we call number 1 as 1, number 2 as 2, number 3 as 3, and so on. But before we called it something, didn't know people not know how to count? They did. So if you look at the natural number system, it's a classic case of something that always existed. I think those of you who have studied mathematics to a slightly higher level might be well aware of the Peano's axioms. It's called the Peano's axioms, named after a mathematician by name Peano. He said there are certain things that you have to just accept it. It can't be proven. And he gives a series of these. One of them is you add 1 to a natural number, you get another natural number. So natural number means, how do you count? 1, 2, 3, 4. Nobody says 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 or minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. We say 1, 2, 3, 4. That's natural. So if that's one natural system, then if you add 1 to a natural number, you will get another natural number. So this is how it works. Can you prove it? Nobody has been able to prove it. So therefore, the Vedas define what is right and what is wrong. So anything that is said in the Vedas constitutes the Sanatana Dharma. There might be variation in the way we understand the Vedas. There are variations amongst different Vedantic schools. However, the fact that Vedas are eternal is something that everybody accepts. So therefore, whatever is said in the Vedas forms the body language, or the body of knowledge that is there, which we call as Sanatana Dharma. So think about Sanatana Dharma as a set of best practices which have evolved over centuries, perfected by the masters, and today we have it as something which is absolutely scrubbed and clean. That is why Vedas are called Nirdushta. They are also called Shrutis. Why are they called Shrutis? Because it is only Shruta. That means nobody has said it. People have been learning only out of hearing. Now, given our memory lapses, etc., it is a recent practice to write down the Vedas. Otherwise, Vedas would always be passed on from generation to generation by word of mouth and people hearing it and learning it by heart. So nobody sat and wrote the Vedas. It's a recent practice. Either way, it has been something which has been coming for all the time. So he says anything that is said in the Vedas is nirdushta. It is something that is pure and therefore forms that body of knowledge called the Sanatana Dharma. This is what is Sanatana Dharma. Then he says, what is that thing called elixir or amrita? In our life, can we have amrita? He says, yes. Milk and milk products, milk, anything that's come from milk is elixir, because it has got a unique power to give us that energy. And lastly, what is it that constitutes this whole world, which is there everywhere? It is Vayu, or the sense of air, because it completely engulfs the air. So what is this world all about? It's full of that air. There's no place where you can't see air. So therefore, if you see again, the question and answers are so sharp and give us new insights. As I said, in this whole set of question and answers, there's some questions which deal with knowledge as trivia. That means there's a point answer. Like, what is Amrita? Milk is Amrita. So it is a very direct answer. But some of them are things which make you ponder over things. It makes you think. And Yaksha, to to try to baffle Yudhishthira, he mixes these two types of questions. So we say, no, no, wait. You suddenly have changed the way you're asking questions. So let me come back. But Yudhishthira doesn't bat an eyelid. That is why he's called Dharma Raja, because he knows these answers as a Gnani. So therefore, this is what he says is the what engulfs the world. The next question: what is it that moves alone? What is born again after it is born? That means it's born once, again it is born. What is it? Doesn't die, but again it is born. What is that? The third one: what is the antidote to snow? So let us say somebody stuck in a glacier. What is that antidote to the snow? And lastly, what is the largest agricultural field that you can think about? Which is that field which is the largest agricultural field? And here are the wonderful answers. What moves alone is Surya. The sun god moves all alone. He is alone. He keeps moving from one place to the other all alone. He's just there and there's nobody with him. So he's got that power to energize all the other planets. And he in turn is energized by Lord Narayana. This is what Gita says, that Bhaskara is someone who I am energizing. I energize the sun, I energize the moon. But as an entity, the sun is always independent, he is always alone. So he is the one who moves all alone. Then what is born again and again? Very interesting answer. The moon is born again and again. So the moon is born, it's a new moon, it slowly grows and it doesn't die, but again is born the next day in a different form. So it never goes away, it's there, but it's born again and again. The fire is the antidote to glacier. So if you look at it, the fire, if you have fire, if the body is having that heat in it, an animal can survive even in the glaciers. As we know, during the peak of winter, many of these animals can survive even within a glacier or within the snow. And it can grow, it can survive, and it leads a very normal life despite being in the glacier. So imagine the amount of heat that it has. So it says that fire or the heat coming from the fire is something which is a glacier. Animals have it within themselves. That is, for months together they are stuck inside the ocean, they are stuck inside the snow. They do not die out of the cold. They have the ability to store food and sometimes even air. They can remain without breathing for so long, or they breathe through a very small orifice. But if they're inside the snow, even that breathing is not possible. But nature, and therefore God, has given them the ability to survive even in those conditions. Next, he says, what is the antidote? We've seen, which is the largest agricultural field? Yudhishthira says it is the earth. The earth is the largest agricultural field because we grow anything and everything in this beautiful place. Next question. He says, what is the soul of a man? What is that which is so core to him, which is absolutely inherent in him? It's very, very dear to him. It's almost like his own soul. What is that? He says, what is the God sent friend? Which is that? Who is that friend who has been sent by God to be your best friend? On who does man depend upon for his very existence? What is that is so important that man is dependent upon for his existence? And lastly, what serves as a shelter for a man? And the answers that he gets are fantastic. The son, as in the child, the progeny, including a daughter, is someone who is the soul of a man. The child is considered an extension of ourselves. So therefore, the son or the progeny is the soul of a man. The wife or the spouse is the God sent friend. So God has sent a friend. Who is that? It is the wife or the husband or the spouse, because that person is going to be with you all your life, and you can have the best friendship that is possible. We've seen that in the previous question, also answered in a similar way. So the spouse is the God sent friend. The man depends upon the rain for his existence. So for everything that a man needs, he needs the rain. Because if there's no rain, there's no water, and there's no existence of that man. Lastly, charity or dana is a shelter for a man. It always keeps him in good stead. That means something, when he is given something, he accumulates that punya, and that is something which serves him in keeps him in good stead. So what sustains him is what he gives. Look at the fun. It is not what he keeps, but what does he give as such. So these are the set of questions that are answered. Next one. I think this is a question that I think all of us want to know the answer for. Who is that person who is contented, who's happy, who's satisfied? What is it that probably gives him that bliss? He's saying, I'm happy, I'm contented. So who is that person? What is that quality that he has because of which he's contented? Because the moment a person is contented, the moment he says that I've got everything, it's a very big spiritual goal that he has achieved. Because all of us, all the time, are wanting more and more and more. There's no end to what we want. You have 5 crores in the bank. Why don't I work for a little more and get 2 more crores? I'll be better off. The greed overtakes the person. He says, look, he's calculated and he's seen that, okay, he needs so much of wealth, but he wants more. He wants more about everything that he can see around you. He wants his children to be the best. He wants everybody associated him to be the best. He wants to keep on getting a promotion every year, if possible every 6 months. Every year his salary should double. We all are like this. But who is that person who's contented? What is that quality that makes him contented? Very interesting question that I think all of us want to really know the answer. What is the greatest wealth in this world? We all have wealth, but what is the greatest wealth that one can have? The third one, what is the best profit that can be made out of a deal? And lastly, what is bliss? So here again, as I said, the challenge is for many words which are there, which are used in Sanskrit, there isn't an equivalent word in English. So we always struggle with the translation, because while they may be synonyms at a superficial level, they mean something else. So for example, Ananda, Sukha are higher level, are used at different levels in Sanskrit. Whereas in English, we just call everything as happiness. But here what is meant is, what is that true bliss that one can see? So very important question. First one, who is that person who is always contented? He says the wise person is always a content person, is always contented. He's full of content. He's happy with what he has. Why? Because when he has skill, he knows that he can get what he wants at any point in time, and he has drawn a line. Daksha, he's drawn a line for himself. Again, Daksha can be interpreted as someone who has wisdom. He knows that there is a limit to how much one should aspire for, because there is no end to what one can get in this world. There is no end to what one can aspire for in this materialistic world. But in the spiritual world, we should aspire for everything. We should aspire for more gnana. You should aspire for more bhakti, and you should aspire for more virakti. But what do? We seem to have interchanged the two. When it comes to spiritual knowledge, when it comes to gnana, oh, that's good enough. Thank you. I studied this much. This is good enough. Today I read one shloka. That's good. In 1 month, I learned one shloka. I read one shloka in Sanskrit in Bhagavad Gita. I'm happy. When it comes to gnana, we seem to be very contented. But when it comes to materialistic things, we want more. We want more and more. We want to watch 10 channels at the same time. For everything, one car is there, and let me also have one small car, just in case. I bought two cars, like, we have four people. Maybe I'll need one more car. You got one house, you want another house. You have one house, you want three more, pieces of land. This is the nature. Why? Because somehow our mind, like gravity, pulls everything down. Our mind and this world around us always tends to pull down our mind. Every time we're trying to elevate ourselves, we are stuck. We are stuck because there is gravity, not the physical gravity. We can overcome, man has overcome even the physical gravity. But what we struggle is to be able to beat those negative forces which are trying to pull us down. And by getting this construct of what can take us up, we can battle some of these things. So having aspirations, so one will get a question, what is wrong with having aspirations? Am I not supposed to be happy? Yes, definitely yes. You should be happy. But to think that whatever materialistic happiness that we get is permanent is something which is a blunder that we make. Yes, this world has some great things. This world is full of beautiful things. This world is full of things that we can gain from. We can use it as a stepping stone for our sadhana. We can use this world as a tool to be using to go to higher levels. But to think that this is the final world, this is it, and there's nothing beyond it, and I should get more and more and more of the same, is a blunder that we should stay away from. Why does, if somebody says, why do you put your child to kindergarten? You say, no, I want this child to be put in the kindergarten so that the child goes to school. So why do you want to put the child to go to the school? No, I want the child to go to high school, then college, then my doctoral studies. Why? Because I want him to earn money. I want him to have a vocation. I want him to get a job. I want him to be able to sustain himself. This is what we say. Now assume you get admission to a child into a kindergarten. What happens there? You're sitting there and saying, okay, this child has got a brilliant kindergarten, great school, wonderful school. Why doesn't the child stay there all the time? For years together, the child can just go, oh, come on, it's a brilliant kindergarten. Why doesn't the child stay forever? You'll say, wait, this kindergarten is very good, but that is a stepping stone to the next stage. So this world which is there should be used only as a ladder on which you can climb onto higher levels. There's no point in getting stuck at this level. So while we are here, we are absolutely free to use and enjoy the things here, but with the full knowledge that our destination is something else. Our destination is not to be staying here. So that's not the final destination. At some stage, the train will stop and you have to get off the train because you have reached the destination. Right? So this is not to make us pessimistic. It is to make us realistic and understand the nature. So a wise person, what does he do? He looks all around and says, great, this is fantastic. I can use it for my sadhana. And I have to go to a higher level. And also help others to understand this. So the Shastras use a beautiful analogy of Padma Patra. That means the lotus leaves. Have you seen the lotus leaves? Try to put some water, the water just flows out. Why? Because the nature of the leaf is such that it just doesn't hold water onto itself. It just flows down. Just flows down. You look at the leaf, it doesn't have any water, it is not wet. And where does the lotus bloom? It is inside the water. It's always inside the water. But you can never see the water on the leaves. Because the leaves have a way of being in the water, but when they're taken out, they are able to overcome that. He says that's how we should be in this world. Till we are here. Yes, there is a wife, there is a child, there's a father, there's a mother, there's a house, there are your belongings, there is money, there are friends, there are relatives, everything is there. But none of that will come with us. So, therefore, a person who leads this kind of a life, a person who is spiritually elevated, is someone who can be contented because he knows where to draw a line. Then the other one, what is the greatest wealth that one can have? This, I think, many of you would have guessed that will be the answer, is nothing but knowledge. The knowledge that we get from our gurus is the greatest knowledge. So there's a beautiful saying about knowledge. It says that in the Subhashita, it says knowledge cannot be distributed. It is not halved. Two brothers cannot, tear it. If there's a 1 acre plot, both the brothers inherit. Each one will get half an acre. So from 1 acre, it became half acre each. Each of them has 4 children. It will become 1/8 finally amongst them. So any materialistic wealth, when distributed, it becomes it is its ratios are reduced in some proportion. But knowledge is not like that. When a teacher enters a class, the teacher has knowledge. How much knowledge? This much knowledge, let us say. He or she goes into the class and teaches 100 people. Now that knowledge has gone to 100 people. What has happened because of that? How many times the knowledge has improved? 100x. Now it has become 101x. Because the teacher has knowledge, all the 100 also have that knowledge. So it's become 101x. Each one of them will go and teach so many people. So the knowledge keeps on increasing. It never decreases. And he says, Vyaye krite vardhati yena yenam. So when you're spending knowledge, that knowledge is actually increasing. And nachorya haryam. Nobody can steal it. God forbid if a thief comes into a house, he's going to steal everything. He might even steal the books. Of course, he will steal all the very valuables and go away. He might take the books also. But he cannot take away the knowledge that person has. If that person has the knowledge, he will earn it back. So therefore, it is a wealth which cannot be, there's no equivalent to that wealth. Health is the greatest profit one can make. One of the biggest gains that a person can make is nothing but health. And in today's world, I think we'll find it easier to understand this, because while the medical science has, exploded into great advancements, great, medicines have come in, still we find that sickness, diseases are unfortunately also increasing. So having a good health for a person is something that can be the greatest profit that a person can gain. Labha, what's the greatest labha? What's the biggest gain from this is nothing but health. So he says this. And lastly, he asks and he says that satisfaction, that is fulfillment, gives the highest amount of happiness. So, where do we look for this happiness is something which is going to grant us that happiness. And the true happiness comes only from seeking divine knowledge. You know, there is limited amount of happiness which is there in this world. We enjoy it, as we have said earlier, but importantly, get that Bhagavad Gnana. The moment you get that divine knowledge, even the process of getting that knowledge makes you seek more. Gnana pipasa, that means the thirst for knowledge keeps on increasing. The more you feed it, the more it increases. So therefore, that is something, the person who has this aspect to it is someone whom we have to be looking at. So satisfaction, that gives the happiness. Next set of questions from Yaksha. He says, what is the highest level of dharma? What kind of dharma will always yield fruits without exception? What if I can control it saves us from any kind of sorrow or regret. And what kind of friendship never gets destroyed, or never, it's nothing, is something which goes a waste. And again, answers are so profound. He says compassion or daya is something which is the highest level of dharma. Dharma, as ordained by the Vedas or Trayi, is always yields fruits. So anything that is mandated by the Dharma will always give us the fruits. So a dharmic way of life means a Vedic way of life. The way the Vedas have prescribed, we lead our life. So our life has two parts to it. One is the routine, is the daily routine that we follow in terms of our habits and actions and the processes that we follow. The other one is what are the kind of thoughts that we have. So there is a physical life and there is a spiritual life, both of them, and they have to go hand in hand. Therefore, for both of these things, that means what is the mindset you should have and what should you be doing as actions, both are ordained by the Vedas. And anyone who leads a life which is ordained by the Vedas and as per the Vedas is someone who will never feel unhappy, because he is leading the life the way, it is prescribed that he should be leading. Then who is the person who never has regrets or sorrows? The man who controls his mind will never have sorrows or regrets, because he never does those things which can give him sorrow. It is something that does not anything. He thinks a lot, saying, look, if I do this, I'm going to feel sad. It's very common. Let's say, you're following a diet, and a person who is following a diet strictly, who's a wise person, he'll say, look, it's very tempting for me to eat that a piece of sweet. If I eat, I will eat it, I will like it, 2-3 minutes I'll feel good, but after that I'll start feeling bad. I should not have eaten it. From morning I've been trying to control, last minute I fell into the temptation. This is something which immediately he starts regretting or he feels sorry. But a wise person says, no, wait, I will not do it. It's not good for my health. He's not trying to torture himself. He's just telling himself, in the long run, this is not good for my life. It's not good for my health. So therefore, I will not eat this particular item. Now, in this kind of a physical example that I gave you, it's probably easy to follow it and at least understand. But when you move to a life which is different, then how will you understand, which is more abstract, on spiritual matters, on moral matters, on matters of dharma, it becomes even more difficult. Therefore, the understanding and the total control over the mind becomes very, very important. We saw this analogy of the ratha or the chariot in the Upanishad. So just before this series that we have done on Yaksha Prashna, we have done a series on Katakopanishad. We did a 3-part series. So I would urge all of you who have not attended that session to go back to our YouTube channel and look at those sessions. You will get an idea. And this is a wonderful example about how the body, the intellect, the horses, and the chariot have a beautiful analogy. So there it says the indriyas, the senses, are all like horses. So what are the horses? They're nothing but our sensory organs. What is the nature of the sensory organs? It is the same as that of a horse. So if you leave a horse open into an open field, what does it do? All of us know this. It just runs. It just runs in all directions. Now imagine a charioteer is sitting and it's running in all directions. He will not allow it. He's got these ropes, or what we call the leash, to be able to control it. That leash is nothing but the mind. So that is why if you read the Shastras, be it Ramayana, Mahabharata, Bhagavata, Brahma Sutras, they have this one thing as common, which is that they always ordain Indriya Nigraha. That means having the control over the mind. And there's another example. If the sensory organs are horses, how should you train them? How do I control my senses? Morning when I started off, I think everything is good, but I don't know what happened. Suddenly, I lost control, and I ate something or did something which I shouldn't be doing. It's not just the sense of eating; it's everything. How many times it has happened to us, saying, "Why did I do this? Why did I speak like this? That's not my real nature." But yet we do these things. Why does this happen? It happens because despite knowing that something is wrong, we don't have a way to control it. And if you want to achieve great heights in any field, forgets about spiritual world, it is also important that in the physical world, you should have control over your mind. Imagine, a leading cricketer, whoever that person is. He starts eating whatever he wants. He leads an indisciplined life. And how many times have we seen this? That great sports people, great, film artists, great musicians have ruined their life because they could not control their habits. They could not control their addictions. So therefore, it is something that one has to be very careful about. So the mind, therefore, is something that has to be controlling our senses. And how do we control the horse? The horse, when it has to be controlled or it has to be trained, is first put to a fast. They don't feed the horse for some time. As a consequence, all the energy in the sensory organs comes down, and then they start training because the horse does not have the energy to break the leash and go away. So it slowly starts getting trained in the manner that the charioteer wants him to go. So therefore, the Shastras and our mind, the mind which is guided by the Shastras, is what is going to help us gain a control over the senses. Otherwise, we are just left out in the open. So this is how it is. Um, Um, so, so this is how we are looking at the way to control our senses. So, therefore, anybody who does not want to have a sense of regret should have a control over his mind. Have that seer cleanser sense of what is right and what is nice. Something may be nice, but that is not right. It may not be right. So, therefore, one should have the discretion which comes because of the wisdom or the control over the mind that that person has. And lastly, the friendship with good people never gets destroyed. Being around with the right people, and I would like to share this statistics which I learned recently about. It says that the five people who are there around us, it could be anybody with whom you spend significant amount of time. So I would request all of you to do this exercise, right? And in a sheet of paper, please write down all the people that you interact with on a regular basis, right? And within that, who are the people whom you interact with more regularly? It could be anybody. And then see what kind of impact that these top five people in that list are having on you, right? You will realize that the time that you're spending with these people has a very big impact in the medium and the long term, sometimes even the short term, about how your thoughts are organized, right? So I'll take a pause here and check with you. Do you agree with this, that the people who are there around you, they could be there in front of you, or they could be people whom you meet even remotely, maybe on a call, or maybe somebody whom you think is your role model. The person may not be here all the time, but somewhere there in the back of your mind, you're trying to be like that person in that aspect of your life or all aspects of your life. So, do you agree with this or don't agree with this? What is your own experience say? Would you like to share it in the group? Yes? Anyone? Anybody would like to share? Yes, I agree. Abhijit says. Anyone else? Okay. So yes, I think everybody's agree. Okay. Great. So it becomes very important to have the right friends. And therefore, the Mahabharata gives us the advice that anybody, if you want to let your mentality or mindset be shared, then please have the right people around you. Because, like the way you have the right, people who are there around you who are good, you can also have people who are bad. So, therefore, if you have a good friend who's done the right things for you, and with whom you have a good relationship over a period of time, that is something that can never be broken. Because what happens with good friends is also they are very understanding. There are people who understand us very well. So therefore, even if something goes wrong in that relationship or in the behavior, they are capable of bringing you back to track. We see that especially at a young age it becomes very important to have the right friends, because especially in the teenage, pre-teen, teen, and maybe till people are 25, there's a big influence that friends have on our thinking. So having a good person all the time as your friend, that relationship will never go wrong. You will never go in the wrong direction. Next question. What should one give up to endear himself to everybody? So, if what is that one thing? If that person gives it up, then probably that person will endear himself to everybody. What should one give up to stay away from sorrow? So, this is all about giving up. What should one give up to become wealthy? What should one give up to be happy? Now, it is very evident that whatever has to be given up is not easy, isn't it? Because if it was that easy, then it wouldn't be part of Yaksha Prashna. So it is something which is one has to sacrifice to be in order to be achieving something. That is the whole whole focus in this particular set of four questions that Yaksha has asked. And what does Yudhishthira say? He says, okay, one should give up ego to endear himself to everyone. This is common knowledge, isn't it? The person who is having an ego becomes very difficult for anybody to interact with him. The moment he gives up that ego and says, there's no ego, it's not me, it's about God. I am nobody. Whatever I have is because of God. Whatever are my drawbacks, I request all of you to excuse me. I apologize for that. I want to be a better person. Why will somebody not like such a person? The moment the ego comes in place, it becomes a very big barrier for people to build a relationship with that person. So if you look at all those people who are otherwise good people, maybe, but who have a strong sense of ahankara, that means ego, it is very difficult for people to have that relationship. How many times we have heard about relationships breaking or fading or weakening because somebody is egoistic? An ego stops a person from learning, from being able to relate to people, from building relationship, from understanding others, being understood, because not letting anybody come near him. If a person is unwell, the doctor goes and says, okay, let me try to find out what's going on with this fellow. The moment the doctor comes, imagine the patient runs away from him. He says, no, you can't come near me. How will the patient treat him? This is, I know, is an extreme example. But a person who has that ego will never be able to interact with people. He can never be good friends. So, therefore, if one wants to have that endearing relationship, one of the sacrifices that he'll have to do is to give up his ego, right? So again, a lot of questions people have, and we've got these questions I don't know how many times. There is always a thin line between ego as well as self-esteem. Being proud of whatever one has done is great. It gives you confidence. Looking at objectively, say, yeah, I've done this much, I've achieved something, is not ego. It is self-esteem. It is recognizing goodness in yourself. You know your strengths. That is not ego. But when this ego, when this line is crossed, is something that is always difficult to make out. So therefore, one has to be very careful. You know, it's very common in all these vehicles that we drive. When we're driving, the speed is increasing 20, 30, 40, 50, so on. The moment it crosses 80, you get a warning. Wait, crossing. Now that 30 becomes 80, becomes 90, 100, you get one more warning. If you still increase, it will start giving you warning continuously, and it will not stop till you slow down. Unfortunately, in our life, this is not available in our daily lives. So therefore, what is the best way to know, am I being I have self-esteem, or is it becoming ego? Our old technique of, what is that technique that we have taught in earlier sessions? I hope all of you are practicing. By saying this itself, I'm giving you the answer. All the people who followed the previous session will know the answer. What is the technique that we taught all of us? You can type in the comment section. What is it that we taught, a technique for self-reflection? Journaling. Excellent. Harish, Karthik, wonderful. Journaling. Right? Journaling is very important. How many of you are journaling? Even if it is once in a while, it's okay. But have you started journaling? If you were already journaling, please continue. But how many of you are journaling? So Shia is saying that it is my first session. So welcome, ma'am, to this session. Please do attend all the future sessions, as well as do watch the videos of the first 5 sessions that we did. We have mentioned journaling in 3 of them and how to journal. If you still are not clear, please write to us again on the email ID that we're going to share with you, and ensure that you are coming in, attending that session. Okay? And we have mentioned different types of journal. If you're still not clear, no worries. Just write to us. We will give you the resources by which you can start journaling. Okay? So Shia, ma'am, please do start journaling if you have not done that already, as is your first session, but others as well. See, these moments of self-reflection will ensure that you are clearly understanding yourself. The amount of self-awareness that you will get is very high. Today I said like this, reflecting, did I do the right thing? What did I do to make the situation great? I was thinking this will not happen, but suddenly things changed. How did it change? And then you will realize, what is happening in your life. What are you doing right? What are you doing right? And what are you doing wrong? What is it that you could have avoided today? So this kind of a reflection is what makes us a better person with each day. And what do we have to do? We have to spend 15 minutes. Just 15 minutes in a day can help us actually realize the importance of what Yudhishthira is giving. Otherwise, what happens is that our life is just flowing from morning to evening. We're just doing things, we're doing activities, we just go through the day. End of day, sleep, wake up in the morning, another day. Time just passes by. Time is not waiting for anyone. It is not going to wait for everyone. It just keeps flowing. If we want to add meaning to that time, then we will have to do things which are right. But to realize what we're doing, we don't know, because we're doing so many things at a time. right? Morning you set out on something, evening totally new things would have happened, right? So if you reflect on each one of them, just 15 minutes are good enough. You will realize that in the how you are making progress. Because again, I will repeat this. Ataha Madhvacharya for the youth. The one and only purpose is to help all our people who are coming from the audience. We don't have the wisdom to do that. That is why we are taking the help and support and the guidance of the Shastras. Because as we have seen the meaning of Sanatana Dharma, it has been there for years, for centuries, for they're timeless. So if that has worked for all these years, all these centuries, and time immemorial, they will work for us. So instead of going to some place or some source which is not time tested, why not look at that and see, can we make use of this? And clearly, in our own journey, I think all of you will agree, all of us who have been in this journey for so long will realize, and some of you I see are attending these sessions again and again, are people who would have already seen a pattern in which we can shape our life. Each input that is given, don't take it as a, there's some shastra is saying, oh, all impractical things. No, please don't look at it like that. If you start, that's why I said we should always be thinking and pondering, can I implement it? All this is great on a Saturday night. How will it be on a Monday morning? What can I take to work so that I can be a better professional, a better spiritual person, a better parent, a better child, a better husband, a better wife, a better sister, brother, whatever role you want. Mahabharata never said this lesson is only for them, for X, Y, or Z. It's for everyone. Each one of us has an opportunity to take ourselves one step higher. We can't climb 1,000 steps, true. But even if we take one step in that direction, I think we will be better off than what we were earlier. So look at this as a moral guide. As I said, don't look at it as a textbook, look at it as a playbook. What's the difference? Playbook is all about action. It's about enjoyment. And a textbook is grim, serious. So a textbook can become a playbook, right? We all did that. All students of science will have seen this. Whenever there's a physics textbook, there is a practical textbook. That book that you write, lab record, as we used to call it. So make this textbook into a lab record. Because lab is where we will experience these concepts. So therefore, look at Mahabharata as a dynamic thing. It is not something that happened some time back. Some two cousins fought. If two cousins, many cousins have fought. But all that did not become Mahabharata. Why? Because Mahabharata has those lessons. The purpose of Mahabharata was not to tell us the story of two cousins. The purpose of Yaksha Prashna is not some random question that somebody asked and somebody answered. They're part of Mahabharata. The person who wrote it was none other than Vedavyasa himself. And the person who was there guiding each action of the Pandavas was Lord Krishna here. He is the one who guided them. So therefore, whatever we get are profound lessons, provided we understand them and we are able to implement. Internalize and make it a habit. Right? Reading a great book on swimming will not make you a swimmer. Reading a great book on dieting will not reduce weight. Right? Reading a great book on medicine will not cure your disease. You've read it, you have to act. So there's, one guy. Okay, I will share that, example for the next set of questions where I think it is even more appropriate. Next one. He says, okay, we will move to the next set of questions. So, one should give up ego to endear himself. One should give up anger to stay away from sorrow. One should give up bad desires, right, to become wealthy. Because there is a beautiful path we all have, lovely path we have, which Dharma has given us. If you are going on that path, it's like the national highway. You keep going, it's beautiful. You pay your toll and keep going. What is the toll? The karma charni. Whatever we are, our obligations, spiritual obligations, keep paying the Totally keep on going. No issues. But what happens when, when one loses that path is when the trouble starts for him. He starts to wobble at that time. So therefore, if one has to be happy all the time, he has to give up the bad desires, because bad desires will take him away from that highway. Somebody's driving on the highway. So, oh no, no, wait, let's go and have some tea. So he gets deviated, right? So having a tea may not be a bad idea, but in the spiritual path, whatever is the dharma patha, if one goes away from that, he's going to suffer. So the desire is what triggers that. So here desire is not good desire. On a spiritual path, you decide, I want to study more. Like some Ram sir is saying, why don't you explain Harikatamrita Sara in English? That is also kama. That is also a kamane. But it's satkama. That is a good kama, good desire, good good ask that you may have. But kama is not that, unfortunately, that is referred here. It is bad desires. It's evil desires which help you, which will take you away from your area of focus. That is not right, unfortunately. Right? So you have to be very careful in the way these desires are there. Why? Because all these are attacking what? They're attacking our mind, and controlling the mind therefore becomes very difficult, right? And it is constantly led astray. And lastly, one should give up greed to be happy. Greedy person, as we have seen earlier, lobha, will never be happy. Whatever he gets, he wants more. Why? Because he's got that inherent greed. The only thing that we should be having greed for is bhakti for him, bhakti for Lord Narayana. That we should be very greedy. We should ask for more, 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 because no amount of bhakti is enough to attain him. Why? He is ananta, he is infinite. If somebody is infinite, how do you go? How much for, if suppose I ask you, how much petrol should be in a car for it to go 100 kilometers? You will say something, you will say maybe 7 liters. Okay. Suppose I say 200 kilometers, you will say okay, 14 liters, 15 liters, and so on and so on. We keep on adding. But if I say how much time, how much fuel is it required for us to go into the space? You say space. Where in space? No, no. Space, we keep on going. What is the end of space? There's no end for space. It's infinite. Can you calculate how much of fuel we need? So, for the spiritual journey, for us to reach Lord Narayana, the fuel that we need is infinite. So, therefore, for that bhakti, one should aspire very, very greedy for more bhakti. But what have we done? We have become greedy about the materialistic world, which has huge limitation. No amount of materialistic world can stop us or fulfill that greed. Suppose somebody says, I'm feeling hungry. You can feed him. After some stage, what happens? He says, no, 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 enough, enough. The person would have come and said, I'm very hungry, give me food. You say, give. That person is eating. How much will he eat? After 3 minutes, he says, it's enough. And next time you get food, he'll say, no, 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 if you come in near me, I will get up and run away because I can't eat so much. Everything has got a limit, but greed does not have any limit. A person is hungry, you can feed. A person is greedy, you can never feed. So therefore, greed comes in our way to be happy. So a greedy person can never be happy. So controlling greed is something which is very important. So why should one donate? So this is the last set of questions that we will take, and then we'll take the questions that you are asking me here and jump to the next set of questions in our last and concluding part, which will be there next week. That's on the 30th of August. Why should one donate to a Brahmin? Why should one donate to an artist? Why should one donate to servants, people who are working for you? And why should one donate to a king? It's all about donation. So why should one donate to a Brahmin? So, beautiful answers. Again, a mix of questions. One should donate to a Brahmin as it is the donor's dharma. It is his duty to serve, donate to the Brahmin. Why? Because a Brahmin does not have a source of earning. He's the Brahmin in his true vocation is supposed to only study. Whatever he has studied and understood, he is supposed to teach others. And he is supposed to earn his food by bhikshatana. That means virtually by begging people to give him. So the dana which is given for this purpose is like donating to a school. It is of the highest order because you are not feeding that individual. You are feeding what is an education institution. He has to feed himself and his disciples around him. That was the system those days. But donating to a Brahmin, in this context, we should look at not just a Brahmin, but anybody which is an organization which is involved in Dharma Karya or Gnana Karya, we should donate. It's our duty to donate. Just like the way we pay the electricity bill to our electricity board in Karnataka, it's called BESCOM. We pay the monthly bill. Why? Because we need light. We need that energy. Without that, the place will become dark and without energy. Right? That's why we pay BESCOM bill. Why should we be donating to an education institution, a dharmic education institution? Because without that, what will happen? There will be darkness. And what is that darkness? That spiritual darkness. So therefore, we, along with this electricity bill, a small amount we should donate to a dharmic organization which is actually providing us the great textbooks, the great gurus who can teach us not only now but for centuries to come. And it is our duty to sustain this. So don't look at this topic as only a donation to a Brahmin, but any education organization which is helping us elevate ourselves spiritually, it's our duty to donate to them because they sustain only on what kind of contributions that are made by people who can give it to them. So if there is one takeaway, one clear takeaway, let us donate to an organization which is providing us this great gnana and so on and so forth. The choice is yours. You could give it to anybody, but do think about this from that perspective. Next one should donate to an artist to get fame. Very common. When you pay a celebrity or an artist, you get fame. That person becomes famous. He says, oh, that person gave money to this great artist and sustained that art. So people should give because people who want fame. Next one should donate to servants to sustain them. The people who are working for us are people who are completely dependent on them. So we give money to them to ensure that they are able to sustain themselves. So this is where one should be fair in how much of money is paid for what kind of purpose, because they are completely dependent on us. Then lastly, one should donate to the kings. The question was, why should we want to donate to the kings? He should donate to the king because of fear of taxes. Because of fear. If we don't donate to the king will, it is taxes. The donation to the government is nothing but taxes. We have to do that out of fear, because if you don't pay your taxes, the government will come after you. So therefore, one should do that out of fear, he said. That means out of a sense of duty. Like the way we all dutifully pay our taxes, we should, in those days, that was paid to the king. So donation itself, you see, has got different purposes. With the king, no choice. With the servant, it's a must for them. With the Brahmin, it is important as a thing which is coming back to us as punya, as well as the knowledge that we get from that institution. And of course to the artist, because somebody might want fame. So we will stop the question answer, the Yaksha Prashna question answers here, and I will come to the question answers in a minute. I have some important information to show you. These are some of the things that are planned for today, but we are a little behind, but not to worry, we will cover them in the next session. Excuse me for this, we have to jump a little bit. Yes. So as usual, we're giving everybody many ways by which you can be attached to us. I think many people ask us, how do you continuously get update about what is happening? So our advice is, please join our WhatsApp group. You can see this on the left. There's a WhatsApp group, a QR code. Please scan it and request for admission into the group. We will admit you immediately. We check this every 3 to 4 hours, so you'll become, anything that you are doing, anything that we do is published here, especially all the videos which are getting released, thoughtcast which is getting released, and of course live sessions like this. Instagram updates, we are not putting it here because we don't want this to be something which is repeating. The second one, and I strongly suggest you become a member of our, follow our Instagram channel. It's here, the QR code is here. You can um, immediately scan this and become, and to follow us. Now what following us helps the people, the participants, is that whatever resource that you have asked for, like we had compiled all the prata stotras, that we have automated, so that anybody who asks it against a reel or anything like that, it directly comes to them in their DM. So you don't have to manually do it. So follow us and you will ensure that you will get all these resources sent to you. Even in the past, we have made close to 350 reels which talk about different topics and the resources which can help you. So for example, we've made a something on Ganesha Puja, which will be useful to you. So you can have a look at that reel. It will give you the whole process for Ganesha Puja and what is the process that you have to follow on that particular day in a simple format. So such resources are plenty. You can go there. We have the YouTube channel, which is again pretty active. The shorts are released over here, plus long form videos are also available here. This is our email ID. I think many of you have started using it. Please do write to us on any query and any support that you want from a sadhana perspective, any reference to a book, any PDF that you might need, anything that you want to know more, any questions that you have. It's been a very active last few weeks where we have got a lot of questions from us. Now, some people wanted to know if they want to attend detailed Patha sessions, regular sessions in the morning. It is done by our Pujya Guru, Dr. Vyasankara Prabhanjanacharya. Please ensure that you are attending that. So please, if you scan this, you will get into the Vyasa Madhwa community where you can attend this session every day in the morning, covering the Sarvamoola Granthas or Granthas written by Sriman Madhvacharya, explained beautifully by our illustrious Guru, Sriman Vyasankara Prabhanjanacharya. So this, please join. It will help you a lot. Some more follow-up announcements. As we speak, there is a live pravachana going on Dvadasha Stotra by Sriman Madhvacharya. There are 25 episodes that have been shot and they are getting broadcast every day at 8:30 p.m. on Sri Venkateshwara Bhakti channel. So if you have television, you can watch it in the television channel there, or you can also watch it on YouTube. So you can go to YouTube, say SVBC Kannada live, and you will get a live link. It is always there between 8:30 and 9, and it will be there for the next 24 hours, before which that expires and the next episode starts to play. This is in Kannada. So I have taken every shloka of Dvadasha Stotra and explained in detail. Now, Dvadasha Stotra is just not just a stotra, it is actually a beautiful encyclopedic work. If you want to understand all the aspects of Madhwa Shastra, beautifully covered in these 125 shlokas that are there. So short in 25 episodes, each shloka verbatim has been explained. So please do see it at your leisure. We'll be starting a new series that will come live again, which is from on the story of Nachiketa. As I said, we have, as you know, we covered this topic of Kataka in our 3 sessions in English. There we combined 2 or 3 mantras together and explain the meaning. Here it's going to be shloka by shloka. Every mantra we are going to explain in detail. So if you are interested in that, please join again on SVBC Kannada channel. It's going to be live at the timing, of course, I will share with you. Now, you must be wondering why September 9th. September 9th is the start of the fortnight of the month of the Hindu month called, and that is called Pitru Paksha. So in that time, Kathakopanishad should be heard especially. Garuda Purana and Kathakopanishad are meant, they are meant to be heard at all times, but especially during the Pitru Paksha, Kathakopanishad is considered to be very auspicious and giving us great fruits by listening to it at that time. This program is in English, so you will hear the deep meanings of of uh, of Kathakopanishad coming here with Madhwa Bhashya. That means the commentary written by Sriman Madhvacharya and Sri Raghavendra Swamiji. Next is that here is a great announcement that we wanted to make for a long time. I think many of you have been asking for offline program. That means in-person program. You wanted to attend that. So we have planned a day-long program on the 31st of August, which is next Sunday. If you are in Bangalore, please attend this. We will share more details about this with you. So it's the art and the science of how modern Madhva living should be. I think we all understand, the Madhwa Shastra to some extent, but we struggle to integrate it into our daily lives. Then this is all great, but how do I use it? How do I do it? What are the challenges that I face? If I can get those challenges addressed by looking at others who also seem to have the same challenge but have overcome. So, Madhvacharya for the youth, Ataha, has been in operation for 21 years. We've sort of understood the different questions, challenges, and some kinds of mindsets of people like all of us. We are also like all the other participants and understanding their mindset and what are the challenges they face. So we try to address all this in a day-long workshop, a day-long session, which is going to happen between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. next Sunday at the Purna Pragna Vidyapitha. This is a program that is hosted by Purna Pragna Vidyapitha, Purna Pragna Samshodhana Mandira, which is a research organization of Purna Pragna Vidyapitha, and Ataha. All three of us are coming together to host this program. I'll be delivering the sessions throughout the day, and it will address different aspects of Madhva Shastra and its interpretation, in our daily life. So people who come there can hope that when they go out of that workshop, they will have lot more clarity on what Madhva Shastra really is and how they can lead a great fulfilling life by following Madhva Shastra. Men, women, children, old people, young people, kids, everybody is invited. The only challenge is that the seating capacity is a little limited. Over there, only 80 people can be seated. We didn't want that to be too big as well, because then it becomes very difficult to address everyone. So 80 people, we will be announcing the details on Instagram. So please follow us. You will find more details. There's a Google form. Please fill it up and you can attend. Everybody, all are welcome for this program. As I said, men, women, children, everybody at any age group can attend. Typically recommended for people above 15, because then they can assimilate. The content is made for students, professionals, young people, people who are in their middle age, and entire age group, men as well as women. So please attend this program. We will share more details of this as such. There are two more lectures. One lecture happening later this week, which is the 5 Sutras for Modern and Shastric Living at the Chaturmasya of Shri Shri Satyatma Tirtha Swamiji at Uttaradimat, Hyderabad. So those of you who are in Hyderabad can come and attend this. We have a lot of people who are attending these live sessions from Hyderabad. So please ensure that you are there if possible. Otherwise, this will be broadcast live. Subsequently, we'll download this and put it on our website as well, our YouTube as well. So a similar lecture on lessons from the life and works of Sri Vadaraja Tirtha at the Chaturmasya at Sonda, Vadaraja Matha, will also be there live. We will share those details with you on the WhatsApp group. So please be part of our WhatsApp group and Instagram. We're saying that so that you are instantly told about what it is. Please also watch the Thoughtcast programs that I have been talking about. We have released 8. We'll be releasing more. We already recorded a lot of them, and they're due for release shortly. Lastly, let us learn the Madhwa Shastra in English. The ultimate quiz, Yaksha Prashna Part 3, is going to be on the next Saturday. So next Saturday, we will answer all these questions that Yaksha has asked Yudhishthira. Plus, we will provide a summary of that. Saying we heard a lot of questions, we got a lot of answers. What are our key takeaways? What should I do in terms of action? So we'll cover the questions a little fast because we've already seen so many questions, and we will ensure that we are covering them in detail, right? So this is what it is as such, um, which is part of the next program that we are going to do. So be there for that program as well, which is the Mangala or the conclusion of this. So let's look at the question. Namaskaram, revered sir. I humbly request you to, yes, Harikatamrita Sara is something that we will try and take it up. But just one thing as a caveat, Harikatamrita Sara is a very voluminous work. It has got 32 chapters, and it's quite a voluminous work. So we are delighted to do it if people have the patience to listen, because sometimes when you stretch long, parts, extend it to many episodes, then people somehow lose their attention span. But if all of you agree, we'll be more than happy to teach this text. Our Guru, Sriman Prabhanjanacharya, has taught this text as a patha to me for many years. Took me almost 4 years to learn it. Be more than happy to share this as well. Um, do you have the recording of explanation of Dwadash Stotra for those who cannot watch on SVBC? So we don't have it right now, but after they have broadcast everything, Mr. Vikram, this we will take it and we will put it on our YouTube channel after they have finished all the episodes. So it started on 11th, so it should be ending sometimes later, first part of September. After that, we will definitely load it up and show that to you. But you can access any episode within the first 24 hours, as it will be available on the live link. So to go there, just scroll back and you will find this depending on what time you are actually scrolling. So we'll try and do that. So how does one differentiate between good and bad desire? It's very clear. Anything which is taking you in the direction that you want it to go, and which is towards a worthy goal, is a good desire. Anything which is taking you away from that is bad desire, right? So you have to evaluate it first. We will come to the goal later, but anything that is moving you away from the goal is a distraction that we have already seen. For those of you who didn't understand this distraction, please see the first episode of this particular series. We've explained distraction. So that is a distraction. You want to go in this direction, this is not letting you go, that is distraction. Now, whether the goal itself is the right one is very simple. If it is dharma, if it is good, it is something that is good for not only you but for everyone. If that is fair, and if that is what the dharma says, then that is called, that is something that is, it has to go in the right path. That is dharma. Anything that is taking you away from that path is adharma. So the karma which we get, as I said, is of two types. The one which is taking you towards that path of dharma is satkama. The other one is a bad karma. So we should stay away from that. So the Mahabharata has a beautiful, simple definition for what is dharma. It says, whatever is good for sajjanas or good people is dharma. Whatever is not good for sajjanas, that is called adharma. So you have to evaluate it. Yes, I agree with one thing, that it is not, Karthik, I think the question that you have is very relevant, because sometimes we get into the dilemma whether I should be doing this or I should be doing that. That is called Dharma Sankata. That time you have to go back and listen to your inner voice, your Sakshi, or you can consult a scholar and say, please guide me. I'm facing this dilemma. What should I be doing? So, all these questions, the entire Shastras are full of question and answers, dilemmas, confusions that somebody who's asking has in their mind and is getting clarified from someone who's at a higher spiritual level. Here, Yaksha is asking Yudhishthira a test. There are some surprises in Yaksha Prashna. The most important test for Dharmaraja, Yudhishthira, is the last question that Yaksha asks him. It's none of these questions, by the way. They are all Dharma. They're fantastic questions. Dharmaraja has answered all of them. But there is an acid test, or let me say, not an acid test, a litmus test to find out and understand Yudhishthira in truest sense. That is the last question that Yaksha asks. I think some of you know that question, but hold on to yourself, hold on to your horses, as they say. We will unravel that secret next time. But what is important is always look at a higher source. Whatever a person is sick, he cannot treat himself. He has to go to someone who's at a higher level who can solve this problem for us, right? So whenever there's a dilemma, please do consult a guru, consult a shastra, and you will get the direction. But most of the times this is pretty clear when you think calmly and say, this is the right thing for me to do, right? I want to ask whether you have provided any resource on journaling in previous sessions. So we've not provided, resources. But if any one of you want any resource to be shared on this, please let us know. We can guide you to some online resources where you can write and journal. There are a lot of free tools which are available that you could use online, and also some PDFs of some journaling questions that you can use to answer. So, ma'am, please do, Sujal, please do write to us, and we'll be happy to share that with you. Yes. So these are some of the questions that we have. Any further questions? Anything else? So if there's nothing else, wish you all a very happy weekend. And as I said, spend some time reflecting on these answers and what they mean for all of us. So we will have the concluding session next weekend, that is Saturday, and on Sunday we have the offline session in Purna Prajna Vidyapita. Many thanks for attending this session. Each session we are getting more and more people to join. Not to worry, we have upgraded the subscription to this particular platform that we are using. It can accommodate a lot of people right now. Anywhere between 800 to 900 people are attending, but we are geared up for that, so it will not crash. So we are very happy with the attendance and participation for all of you, and keep it going. Thank you so much. Kayena vacha manasendriyirva buddhyatmana va prakrite swabhavat karomi yadyat sakalam parasmai narayanaya iti samarpayami. Let us offer whatever little we have learnt on the feet of Lord Narayana and pray that whatever we have done, He takes the good part and grants us what is good for us. Namaskar.